Welcome to the third module in the EVMS Connect4Health Wellness Coach Training Series. In this module, you will learn the fundamentals of healthy nutrition and physical activity so that you can help your participants set nutrition or physical activity goals that are attainable and in line with best practices. As a wellness coach, you are not expected to be an expert in nutrition and physical activity guidelines. Rather, we want you to be aware of the basic recommendations to better assist your participants. It is important to keep in mind that no one diet works best for every body. Please keep an open mind. As a wellness coach, you will encourage your clients to set health goals that are small, reasonable, and attainable. We'll discuss the goal setting process in another module. For now, let's review the basics of healthy nutrition. Nutrition is one of the most fundamentals of healthy living. Food pantry clients are often limited to what they can receive at the pantries and often either are not aware or do not understand how they can still have a healthy diet. We will first break down the major food groups with healthy options for each group, go over how to read and comprehend a food label, and further discuss best practices. We will discuss 5 food groups: vegetables, fruits, grains, dairies, and oils and fats. We'll start with vegetables. Nutritionists recommend that we consume a wide variety of vegetables to get an adequate source of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Some of the most commonly available vegetables are dark green leafy vegetables, orange vegetables, and starchy vegetables. More tips about vegetables and their benefits can be found on the NIH webpage. You can also follow the link that is on the slide. Next, we move on to fruits. Just like with vegetables, fruits come in many shapes and colors, and it is best to eat a wide variety. Fruit has a lot of great nutrients, such as fiber, which will help with digestion and digestive health. Whole fruits are the best choice, but frozen, canned, or dried fruit that's low in added sugars can be great choices as well. It is recommended that whole fruits are washed before eating and that canned fruits are packaged in their own juice instead of syrup. The next food group is grains. When it comes to grains, as in anything made from wheat, rye, rice, oats, cornmeal, barley, or other cereal grains, whole grains are the best. Whole grains are a great source of iron, B vitamins, and fiber while being low in saturated trans fat and sugars. It is recommended that we avoid grains with added sugar or refined grains such as white bread, white flour, or white rice. The next food group we'll talk about is protein. Meat has traditionally been thought of as the main source of protein, but in reality, there are many other good sources out there, such as seafood, eggs, beans, peas, seeds, and soy products. Low fat and lean is the best when considering meats and poultry. When eating a healthy diet, it is recommended that red meat, like beef, be limited to reduce cholesterol and saturated fat intake. Fish is also a great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for heart health. So if some of your participants would like to set a goal to eat healthier to protect their heart, you may suggest eating more lean meat or fish. Next is dairy. Dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt are a great source of vitamin D, which is an essential vitamin for bone growth and development. When considering dairy options, nutritionists recommend low-fat choices that are also low in added sugar. For more information about dairy recommendations, you can see the link on the slide. Lastly, we have oils and fats. Oils may be high in calories, but they are also a great source of vitamin E, an important antioxidant for our bodies. One tip to help you eat healthy fats is to cook more with olive oil instead of butter. Nuts are also a great source of fat, and some healthy options include almonds, pistachios, and walnuts. For adults 51 or older, the recommended allowance is 5 teaspoons of oil a day for women and 6 teaspoons of oil a day for men. An essential part of a healthy eating is knowing how to read a food label. There are on, there, they are on almost all packaged foods and beverages. That is where all the information you need about the nutritional content of food will be. Categories to pay special attention to are the serving size, calories, fat, sodium, and carbohydrates. The serving size shows the recommended amount of food that should be eaten at one time. Oftentimes, we eat more than one serving of food. Doing this in an unchecked way can lead to unexpected or unintended weight gain. For your participants seeking to lose weight, a goal of eating the recommended serving sizes in their meals can be a helpful tool. Calories tell you how much energy you get from a serving of food. As a general rule, 40 calories is low, 100 calories is moderate, and anything above 400 calories is high. It is estimated that adults need at least 1,200 to 2,000 calories to have a healthy diet. This number, however, will vary largely per person depending on their weight, age, daily metabolic activity, and daily physical activity levels. Fat is a major source of energy for our bodies and helps absorb vitamin E. There are fats we consider good fats, and then there are bad fats. Good fats are omega-3, mono, and polyunsaturated. All of these fats have heart-healthy benefits. Omega-3, most often found in fish, helps to lower triglycerides, and both mono and polyunsaturated fats help lower cholesterol. In contrast, bad fats like saturated, trans fats raise bad cholesterol levels. Saturated fats are commonly found in animal products like meat, and trans fats are most commonly found in oils. Increased levels of bad cholesterol is a significant risk factor for heart disease, and we want to avoid that as much as possible for our participants. Sodium is what makes salt taste salty. Sodium is important to our bodies in their daily function. It is an essential nutrient found in nature. Our bodies only need a little bit of it, however. Added sodium is nutritious in small amounts. Too much sodium is bad for our hearts. More than half of the sodium we eat comes from packaged and restaurant food. The daily limit of sodium is about 2,300 milligrams or 1 full teaspoon of salt. Next, we move to carbohydrates, which are our body's main source of energy. They help us move. They are especially important in keeping our hearts beating, our body temperatures constant, and our brains working. And they help with growth. Some foods have more carbohydrates than others. Bread, rice, potatoes, pasta, oatmeal. Think of your starchy, hearty grains. These all have carbs in them. It's recommended that when eating a healthy diet, carbohydrates come from whole grains, fruits, and dairy products. But not all carbohydrates are the same. There are two main categories: complex carbs that are good carbs with lots of fiber in them and that do not spike blood sugar levels. And then there are simple carbs that are not as nutritious. We call these bad carbs because they have a lot more sugar in them and they have a higher ability to spike blood glucose levels. So if your participant is interested in eating healthier, one simple change could be to swap simple carbs for complex carbs. To make sense of all of the health information and recommendations, Harvard School of Public Health has created the Healthy Eating Pyramid to make it easier for people to lead a healthier lifestyle. Think of it as a grocery list. The Healthy Eating Pyramid emphasizes that a healthy lifestyle is built on good nutrition, exercise, and weight control. Vegetables, fruit, whole grains, and healthy fats should make up the base of the healthy diet, with other healthy foods like nuts, seeds, beans, fish, meat, and dairy added in moderate amounts. Alcohol should be consumed in moderation. Red meat, butter, sugar, and salt should be used sparingly. The healthy eating plate is also a complementary tool to the healthy eating pyramid. It illustrates what a healthy plate should look like for each meal. Half of the plate should consist of fruits and vegetables that vary in color. A fourth of the plate should be made up of whole grains like whole wheat, barley, quinoa, oats, or brown rice. Another quarter of the plate should be made up of lean protein. Tracking food consumption through apps or writing it down by hand can help participants understand their food choices and eating behaviors. Oftentimes, we tend to underestimate the number of calories consumed each day by anywhere from 200 to 1,000 calories. Self-monitoring of eating can help people limit their calories in meaningful ways that can lead them to a big health result. The reason we are going over nutrition so extensively is because the food pantry population you serve are at an increased risk for diabetes and hypertension. Nutrition is a vital component of treatment for those individuals living or are at risk with developing diabetes or hypertension. In regards to diabetes, the American Diabetes Association recommends avoiding or limiting the intake of sugar-sweetened beverages, limiting sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams per day with a target of 1,500 milligrams per day, and eating fatty fish twice per week. Omega-3 supplements are available, but they should not be substituted for the real source. Other foods to focus on are what are referred to as diabetic superfoods, which are foods that are rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. These foods include beans, dark leafy greens, sweet potatoes, and berries. You can follow the link on the slide to learn more about diabetic superfoods. For those living with heart disease, the American Heart Association recommends a balanced diet filled with fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and low-fat dairy. The American Heart Association recommends living tobacco-free, maintaining a healthy weight, and limiting the amount of sodium, trans and saturated fat, and sugar consumed. The American Diabetes Association also advises that healthy nutrition can vary by the individual. There is no ideal percentage of macronutrient distribution or calorie amount for everybody. Personal preferences should be considered when people determine the best eating pattern for themselves. In general, the ADA recommends minimizing the intake of refined carb and added sugar, including the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages and processed low-fat or non-fat products that have refined grains or added sugars. When creating a healthier diet, cutting calories is an important tool to maintain a healthy weight. For any of you who have participants who want to lose weight, they may want to look at the snacks that they're eating. The CDC estimates that nearly a quarter of our daily calories comes from snacks. Replacing high-calorie snacks with low-calorie, nutrient-dense foods can help people lose weight without starving or depriving themselves. Consider this. A cup of potato chips can have about 150 calories in it, but a cup of strawberries has only 47 calories. When cutting calories, rethinking your drink can also have a big impact as well. Soda or juice often have hundreds of calories per serving, but water has 0 calories. Both of those drinks will fill you up the same amount, but one will provide more calories than one might necessarily need. Soda or juice, like I said, have a lot of calories, but water has 0 calories. Considering portion size matters as well. Your client could set a goal to only eat one plate of food per meal to help cut calories in a manageable way. So keep this information in mind when you start working with your participants. Now we'd like to provide you some tips to share with your participant that draw on common cooking practices that, if done frequently, could prevent them from leading prevent them from leading an unhealthy lifestyle. A common cooking practice that some people use is pan frying food, but baking or air frying is an alternative that can produce similar results, a crispy, crunchy outer texture. Instead of frequenting fast food restaurants, one could try planning home cooked meals or choosing healthier options at fast food places. Instead of flavoring foods with salt based seasonings, they could try to use spices, herbs, and acid like lemon juice to help brighten flavor. Instead of flavoring foods with animal grease such as fatback or lard, they could try using a broth. Bonus points if they use a low sodium broth. If any of the less healthier cooking methods come up in conversation with your participants, try offering a healthier alternative as a tip to even as a tip or even an idea for a goal. Sometimes when you're communicating with your participant, they may mention some diet that they're interested in trying. If this comes up in conversation, we want you to be prepared and to know the basics of those diets that are evidence-based and backed by a major health organization, such as the American Diabetes Association. We'll discuss the top 3 diets in further detail, but I'd like to pause here to say that low calorie diets, and low carb diets should not be recommended for individuals who are pregnant or taking certain medications that are listed on this slide. Still, participants should always consult with their doctor before starting any new diets. The Mediterranean diet, which consists of a diet composed primarily of plant-based foods, whole grains, seeds, beans, and olive oil, has many demonstrated benefits, including weight loss, improved blood sugar, and protections against heart disease, stroke, and some cancers. The DASH diet, which stands for Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension, is made up of many plant-based foods as well as low-fat and fat-free dairy products. The DASH diet has been shown to help lower blood pressure in people with hypertension. A plant-based diet in which individuals eat foods primarily but not exclusively from plants has been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, and even some cancers. Not all diets were created equal, though. Fad diets can lead to weight gain and a loss of motivation. However, research has shown that they have many setbacks and rarely lead to long-term weight loss. A combination of diet and exercise is the most effective way to lose weight. All right, now let's turn to discuss physical activity recommendations and why they're important. Physical activity is anything that gets your body moving. According to the 2018 Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans, second edition, adults need to do 2 types of physical activity each week to improve their health: aerobic activity and muscle strengthening activities. The recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. The CDC estimates that only 1 in 2 adults gets the physical activity that they need to prevent chronic disease. Physical activity provides great benefits to our bodies. It can lower the risk of high blood pressure, reduce the risk of stroke, improve aerobic fitness and mental health. Physical activity can also improve cognitive function, reduce arthritis symptoms, and prevent weight gain. Getting enough physical activity could prevent 1 in 10 premature deaths. Getting 150 minutes a week can seem impossible, but exercise does not all need to be done in one sitting. 10 minutes of walking 3 times a day for 5 days a week adds up to 150 minutes. Also, light activities scattered throughout the day can really add up as well. What is most important is to keep moving and not to stay seated for long stretches of time if you do not have to. You do not have to be a member of a gym in order to get exercise. On this slide, there are many options and tips on how to get exercise and physical activity at home, at work, and while at play. So we'll pause here for you to take the quiz on physical activity as well, and then you can move on over to the fourth module in our series.